Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Canto 7, Chapter 5, Text 41. We'll also be reading 39 and 40, so I'll read the translation for 39 and 40, and then I'll request everyone to follow what's on the board. So 39 and 40. The demons, Rakshasas, the servants of Hiranyakasipu, thus began striking the tender parts of Prahlad Maharaj's body with their tridents. The demons all had fearful faces, sharp teeth and reddish, coppery beard and hair, and they appeared extremely threatening. Making a tumultuous sound, shouting, "Chop him, pierce him," they began striking Prahlad Maharaj, who sat silently, meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's the power of a devotee. Okay, please repeat after me. Pare Brahmani Anidesye Bhagavati Akhilatmani Yuktatmani Afala Asan Apunayasyeva Satkriya Apunyarasya Satkriya Pare Brahmani Deshe Bhagavati Akhilatmani Yuktatmani Afala Asan Apunyasyeva Satkriya Pare Brahmani Deshe Bhagavati Akhilatmani Yuktatmani Afalasan Apunyasyeva Satkriya
Parma Brahmani Andriyase
Pari Brahmani Anideshe
Bhagavate Akhilatmani
Bhagavati Akhilatmani Yuktatmani Afalasan Apurnayasya Sevatkriya. Somebody else wants to try? Pare Brahmani Anideshe Bhagavati Akhilatmani Yuktatmani Afalasan Apunyasyeva Satkriya
Pare Brahmanya Nirdeshe
Pari Brahmani Anideshe
Bhagavati Akhilatmani
Bhagavati Akhilatmani
Yuktatmani Afalasan
Yuktatmani Afalasan
Apunyasyeva Satkriya
Apunyasyeva Satkriya. Mothers. Pari Brahmani Anideshe Bhagavati Akhilatmani Yuktatmani Afalasan Apunyasyeva Satkriya Pare Brahmani Anideshe Bhagavati Akhilatmani Yuktatmani Afalasan Punyasyeva Satkriya. Pare in the Supreme, Brahmani Absolute, Anideshe who is not perceivable by the senses, Bhagavati, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Akhilatmani, the super soul of everyone. Yukta Atmani, on he whose mind was engaged. Afalla, without effect. Asan, were. Apunyasya, a person who has no assets in pious activities. Eva, like. Satkriya, good activities. Like the performance of sacrifices or austerities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When we glorify a Guru, the jay should be so loud that it should resound in the skies. So let's say Srila Prabhupada ki. I will tell you, hopefully if I remember, a story about the importance of glorifying and calling out with love and devotion at the peak of your voice and glorifying the Lord, the benefits. Even though a person who has no assets in pious activities performs good deed, it will have no result. Thus, the weapons of the demons had no tangible effects upon Prahlad Maharaj because he was a devotee, undisturbed by material conditions and fully engaged in meditating upon and serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unchangeable, who can not be realized by material senses, and who is the soul of the entire universe. Everyone can repeat the translation with me. Even though a person who has no assets in pious activities performs some good deed, it will have no result. Thus, the weapons of the demons had no tangible effects upon Prahlad Maharaj because he was a devotee, undisturbed by material conditions and fully engaged in meditating upon and serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unchangeable, who cannot be realized by the material senses, and who is the soul of the entire universe. Purport. Prahlad Maharaj was constantly and fully engaged in thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As it is said, Govinda Parirambhitaha. Govinda Parirambhitaha. Prahlad Maharaj engaged himself always in meditation, and thus he was protected by Govinda. Just as a small child on the lap of his father or mother is fully protected, a devotee in all conditions is protected by the Supreme Lord. Does this mean that when Prahlad Maharaj was attacked by the demons, the Rakshasas, Govinda was also attacked by the demons? This is not possible. There have been many attempts by demons to hurt or kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he cannot be injured by the material senses because he is always in transcendence. Therefore, the words Para-Brahmani are used here. The demons, the Rakshasas, can neither see nor touch the Supreme Lord. Although they may be superficially thinking that they are striking the Lord's transcendental body with their material weapons. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described in these verses Anideshya. What is he described as? Supreme Personality of Godhead as? Anideshya. We cannot understand him to be in a particular place. For he is all pervasive. Moreover, he is Akhilatma, the active principle of everything, even material weapons. What is he? Akhilatma. Thank you. Those who cannot understand the position of the Lord are unfortunate. They may think that they can kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees, but all their attempts will be futile. The Lord knows how to deal with them. I like the way Prabhupada ends his purport by saying, the Lord knows how to deal with them. Some of these words and sentences, they may appear to be very simple, but there is very, very powerful meaning behind every sentence, every word that Prabhupada uses in his purport. So, please read Prabhupada's purports at least 3 times, not 1 time. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Praschata Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Everyone, loud and clear, please. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. So here, Vyasadeva, Sukadeva Goswami, and in Parampara Prabhupada is explaining to us the importance of understanding the super soul. And sometimes if you want to understand algebra and scientific mathematics, first of all we have to learn to understand the basic mathematics. You have to understand that many zeros is equal to a binary system. But before you can understand that many zeros is equal to binary systems, some basic mathematics is also required. Because otherwise we would not understand how zeros can turn into computer science. So many things are there in life that takes some basic fundamental understanding, basic fundamental knowledge or scientific knowledge. And in this case, to try and get a glimpse of understanding, because to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not just a simple thing that in 1 second, I have my BSc or MSc or something and I can read Bhagavad-Gita and I can become a scholar or a great devotee. In order to understand, we have to go through the scientific knowledge that Srila Prabhupada has given in the Bhagavad-Gita. Especially to understand the super soul, it's also important to understand what the soul is. What is the soul and who we are? What is our constitutional position? The first time, almost 35 years ago, I was requested to give a lecture. I was a young bhakta and I was scared. And it's natural to be nervous. Even after 35 years, I'm nervous for the first 2 minutes. But then, depend upon Krishna and Prabhupada, and what happens is they empower you. So my president, at that time, he told me, it's very simple. You read Prabhupada's books, and Prabhupada said you don't have to be an extraordinary personality to create your own philosophy. Just repeat simply what I am giving you. You can give a lecture like that. Why I am emphasizing on this is because preaching is the essence of life. Preaching is the essence of life. And for all of us, we have great opportunities as human beings that in this lifetime, to make our life sublime, we should all learn to preach. The simplest form of preaching is requesting people to chant the holy name. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam. Kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiran. Very simple formula. If you can't memorize any sloka, don't worry. If you can't remember Bhagavad-Gita, don't. Just at least tell everyone to chant the holy name. That's not so difficult, right? Even a child can do that. Nowadays you go on the YouTube and you see so many little children. The parents are teaching the children, and the children pick up the chanting of the holy name. And then they sing so nicely also. Little babies, little girls, little boys. Just go on to children chanting Hare Krishna and you'll see so many things. So wonderful. It's a nice way to reawaken our consciousness that Jai Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai, Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Bhagavan ki Jai, Shri Gaur Nitai Bhagavan ki Jai. So just to recall upon the science of the soul, so we can get closer to understanding where we stand in relationship to the Supreme Soul, and where do the demons, like here Prabhupada is stressing and Vyasadeva is stressing on, where do the demons stand? What kind of consciousness do we really have? We can try to analyze ourselves. When we hear what Prabhupada says in the Bhagavad-Gita, then when we hear what is said by Vyasadeva in the Bhagavatam, then we can actually analyze where do we really stand from moment to moment. Because both the demoniac and the divine qualities and characteristics are within the same personality within us, each one of us. So we have to see and analyze moment by moment as to where we stand. But first what I'd like to do is read out some points from the second chapter of Bhagavad-Gita to remind us what Prabhupada is telling us. Always remember, no speculation. Remember to go to Prabhupada's books. Remember to go to Prabhupada's teachings. Remember to go to the points that Srila Prabhupada is making so sincerely, so seriously, and so sweetly. And in such a simple way that even a young person, an uneducated person can also understand. So in the second chapter, text 17, Prabhupada says, Avinasi sutad vidhi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasam avyayasya na kaschit kartum arhati. The translation is, that which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. The word that is used here is Hare Krishna, Avinasi. Avinashi, and the way Prabhupada put this in a sentence is, no one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. It's very comforting to know that no form of demon can come and destroy you, the individual, the soul. In text 19, he says, Yenam, ye enam veti hantaram, yas chainam manyati hantam, ubhav tau na vijanito, nayam hanti nahaniyate. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge, for the self slays not, nor is slain. Here Prabhupada in the purport puts in a very nice, simple, sweet word, he says, the spirit soul is so small that it is impossible to kill him by any material weapon, as will be evident from the subsequent verses. So generally when we read, we just read it very fast and we bypass. But it's important to realize the soul is so small, nothing can kill it. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavitva na bhuya ajo nitya sasvato ayam purano nahanyate hanyamate sarire. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. So here, Prabhupada is giving another example, and he says the body is subject to 6 kinds of transformations. It takes its birth from the womb of a mother's body, remains for some time, grows, produces some effects, gradually dwindles, and at last vanishes into oblivion. The soul, however, does not go through such changes. Because we are so conditioned that our body is changing, we think we are changing all the time. But here Prabhupada is making absolutely pinpoint clearance that soul is not going through the changes, only the body is going to change. Somewhere along the Prabhupada also says the pain you experience in this life is different from the pain from previous life. And if you take another body in this material world, the pain also will be of different form. But the soul is not experiencing the pain, the body is experiencing the pain. So, Pasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinati naro prani tatha sarirani vihaya jirnani anyani shamyanti navani dehi. A person puts on new garments, giving up old ones. The soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up old and useless ones. Here Prabhupada uses some very nice words that I like scientifically. Those of you who are scientists may want to take more serious attention. Transference of atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of the super soul. The super soul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul, as one friend fulfills the desire of another one. And then Prabhupada goes on to give the example of the two birds, the super soul and the soul sitting in the same body. The super soul is simply observing, while the soul becomes connected to the material energy, gets entangled into the material energy, and forgets his constitutional position, despite the fact that the super soul is sitting right next to the soul here. Krishna says that Suridam Sarvabhutanam, that I am seated in every living entity's house, not just human beings, not just men and women, every living entity's house. Nainam chindanti sastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledyanti apo, na sosyanti maruta. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Prabhupada explains that all kinds of weapons, they are not able to kill the spirit soul. And then he goes on to say that even the nuclear weapon, the way he says, even the nuclear weapon cannot touch the soul. So no matter how powerful the nuclear plants are, they cannot touch your soul. So you have nothing to worry about in that respect. The way Prabhupada explains is just so powerful. Avyakto ayam achintyo ayam avikaro ayam uchyate tasmad evam vidit vainam nanu sochanti arisi. It is said that soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. Again, Prabhupada says the soul is so microscopic. It's so microscopic that you cannot even see it. And then lastly, this last verse that I poked from Bhagavad-Gita, it says, some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. A very nice purport given by Prabhupada here. The fact that the atomic soul is within the body of a gigantic animal, like an elephant, in the body of a gigantic banyan tree. You get to see banyan tree in this country, you don't see them overseas. And then he also goes to the other extreme and he says, also in a microbic germs, millions and billions of which occupy only an inch of space. Is certainly very amazing. Men with poor fund of knowledge and men who are not austere cannot understand the wonders of the individual atomic spark of spirit, even though it is explained by the greatest authority of knowledge, who imparted lessons even to Brahma, the first living being. Owing to gross material conceptions of things, most men in this age cannot imagine how such a small particle can become so great and so small. Note the words Prabhupada says, so great and so small. Why I highlighted and I thought it was important for us to remind ourselves of our constitutional position is that otherwise how will we understand when here in the Granthras Srimad Bhagavatam is explained that the demons are trying to use all kinds of weapons. We cannot conceive. These weapons are so destructible that they can destroy, acres and acres of land, thousands and thousands of people at the same time. They used to have those extraordinary weapons that we cannot even conceive of in this lifetime. They were using those weapons on Prahlad Maharaj, and nothing was happening to him. How was that possible? What is it that was so special about Prahlad Maharaj that he was not being touched by these weapons? And how do we understand that? The way to understand that is we can understand Krishna, and every activity he performs, everything that is connected to him is none different from Krishna. Krishna's body is not like our body. He does not transcend into the material world, just like we do. We come through so much tapasya because of all the karmas, vikarmas and akarmas that are involved from the previous lifetimes. Krishna doesn't incur any forms of karmas. He is transcendental. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachid Ananda Vigraha. He is Sachid Ananda Vigraha. Anadir Adur Purusha. Govinda Madi Purushottam. He is Sachid Ananda Vigraha. He is not like us. Nothing can touch him. Nothing can disturb him. No? Nothing can harm him. So if you become a true devotee of Krishna, then you also in many ways becomes minutely but none different from him. You never merge into him. Be very conscious about it. We do not merge into Krishna, but we become minutely like him. So we have the same kind of energies and power within that minute, amazing soul that we cannot see with the best microscope in this world. No? So that is only possible. Brahmande Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. Who is that rare soul? Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev. Kon Bhagyavan Jeev. That means who is that rare, lucky personality, that soul who is actually getting the mercy of the Guru. Now we may think Prahlad Maharaj was so advanced, so then what about us? We are nowhere near Prahlad Maharaj. But Prahlad Maharaj took it something very spiritually and seriously. We are also given the same mercy by Srila Prabhupada. No? Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb of his mother when Narad Muni came. And Narad Muni gave him instructions. That minute soul was active. If you go to the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a whole chapter or several nice verses that explain the challenges that the soul in that minute womb, in that minute form is going through. And that time the soul is so conscious that it's praying to Krishna that please free me from this condition. Please free me from this condition and I will never forget you. We are praying like that. That's how conscious we are. So from that understanding, we can also understand that Prahlad Maharaj was so conscious that when Narad Muni was giving him instructions, he was actually doing Sravanam. No? Like we say, Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Sravanam is very important. Like you go to school, college, what do you do first? You don't go and say, hey teacher, tell me this and tell me that. You go in and say, peacefully sit, take your notepad, keep your pen with you, and then you're taking notes. Or if you're smart, nowadays there's so much technology. You take the little guru or disciple with you and you record everything. So that listening is very important in order for us to qualify to become a doctor, scientist, or whatever we want to. Likewise, it's very important that we hear from authentic source properly the proper science of the soul and the connection to the super soul. Lord Krishna says, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnani nas tattva darsina. If you really want to become like Prahlad Maharaj, if you really want to follow in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj, then what do you have to do? Go to somebody who has that knowledge, who can guide you. I cannot say because I have an honors degree, I can read Bhagavad-Gita and then I am a guru and I am advanced soul. No, I have to go to the spiritual master, take guidance from him. We cannot say, well, Prahlad Maharaj was so fortunate, Narad Muni came. But Narad Muni will not come for us. Our Narad Muni is here. He came. We are nowhere near as advanced as Prahlad Maharaj, but he came and he went to the West. He went all over the world more than 14 times. He came to each one of us. We are so fallen, we are so conditioned, and yet Krishna sent him. He came and he came and he preached and he preached and preached non-stop till the last breath of his life. Exemplary example. One of his first disciples, even before Prabhupada came to the West, he writes that one night, it was on Janmashtami, that he heard Prabhupada upstairs in the room playing mridanga. You know that pastime? You heard that pastime? So Prabhupada was playing the mridanga and he was chanting, he was singing so nicely. And so, I forget his name. The disciple, he went upstairs and he saw Prabhupada was chanting and dancing, just like a mad elephant. He calls it like a mad elephant, And he saw Prabhupada had this beautiful garland, a long garland, and these special flowers are there. They said, in that place, these flowers grow only this size, but the one that Prabhupada got garlands were like big size, like big bulbs. And the fragrance was so powerful that it was emanating everywhere. The whole room was full of fragrance. So he tried to talk to Prabhupada, but Prabhupada continued singing, and Prabhupada's eyes, the waterfalls was coming out. So he tried to talk to Prabhupada, and he realized, no, I should not be disturbing my guru in this mood. So next morning, he approached Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I was trying to ask you last night something. You had this beautiful garland on you, and there was so much fragrance, and you were dancing and singing like a mad person. What happened? And where did you get such a beautiful garland from? Because these flowers are not available here. And Prabhupada's eyes again started rolling with tears, and he said, Krishna gave me this garland. Understand? Krishna gave him this garland, not a small thing. Krishna gave Prabhupada this garland. Even before Prabhupada came to the West to preach, even before Prabhupada came and spent time in Radha Damodar temple, Krishna had already given Prabhupada the blessings. When first time Srila Prabhupada went to listen to Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj's lecture, Prabhupada just pointed out of Bhakti-Siddhanta out of many crowds, he just pointed out to Prabhupada, you go and preach in the West in their languages. The spiritual master is so empowered, he is so realized that he could actually identify amongst hundreds of people one Prabhupada who he had never seen before. And Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj's Guru's Guru, who happened to be his father also, when Prabhupada appeared in this world as a baby, Bhaktivinoda Thakur told sent a message to Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he has now appeared. That is called proper Guru Parampara, the power of the disciplic succession, where the spiritual masters are totally surrendered, totally dedicated to the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the Guru and Parampara. This is how knowledge comes. This is why we sing Samsara Davar Nalalida Loka every morning, so that we can remind ourselves that who is the spiritual master, what is his power, what is his constitutional position, how am I connected to him, and then we make analysis as to where do I really stand in respect to where I should be. We can understand who Prabhupada was, then we will not lament or we will not think that, well, Narad Muni will not come for me. Prabhupada has come for me. That's greater than Narad Muni coming, because Narad Muni just recited Bhagavatam, went. Prabhupada preached, set so much example, did everything by example, so that we can follow by example also. So we should never think that we do not have the same mercy. Mercy is causelessly flowing. It is up to us to take that mercy. It is up to us to take that step seriously. Otherwise, if you don't do that, then Maya is simply waiting. Just give a little finger to Maya. She'll pull your whole body away, take you away. Just like that. And then you end up all kinds of difficult situations. You become bewildered, you become confused, you're lost in the material world, and before you realize it's too late. It's antakal, Last moments of life are coming, and then you're trying to think, I wish I had chanted, I wish I had listened. No good. Right now is the time. There is no moment that should be wasted. Like Prabhupada was asked a question, dear Prabhupada, since I have karmas, collective karmas of so many lifetimes, am I going to have to take so many more lifetimes of chanting japa so that I can be freed? That was the question. You know what Prabhupada said? 1 minute. Chant Krishna's name sincerely and seriously. 1 minute and you can go back to Krishna Loka. That was the power that Prabhupada was talking with. Why? Because he's already blessed. He knows that within a moment, if we really, sincerely, from the core of our heart surrender to Krishna, Krishna will come. and take us. The problem is we have too many viruses inside our body, you know. It's like sometimes the computer gets virus and then you spend so much time trying to clear the virus. So we are too busy entangled in the virus. So we should really take Prabhupada's instructions seriously. Do not let Maya take you away. Krishna is very merciful. If the demons come and they take you, or even sometimes like Lord Brahma and Lord Indra, they become bewildered and they'll try and do something silly, Krishna will still show that there is no discrimination. He takes care of his devotees. No? Aghasur wanted to devour Krishna along with all the coward boys and the calves. You know? So he was mystical. He turned himself into like a 10 kilometers or 10-mile long cave with a big open mouth. So it looked like a really nice, beautiful cave, you know, right? And then what happened? The coward boys said, this is really nice. We have never seen this cave, right? So they all went in nicely, and Krishna also, he knew what was happening. He went in very nicely also. And then Aghasur closed the cave, the mouth of the cave closed. And Aghasur is thinking, great, you know, just like the lotus flowers, and there are certain flowers at night time. Daytime they blossom very nicely and they look very beautiful. The fragrance is very nice. But by the evening they start closing, and the fragrance is even more powerful in the evening. Especially in the evening time, the fragrance is so powerful. Why? Because that's Maya's agency is attracting all the bugs, you know. So they go inside and they are sucking the honey. They think it's such nice honey. And then the flower closes, you know. And that's the end of sweetness. That's how material world is, you know. And sometimes it also happens. The flower closes, and then there are these flowers especially which grow in the water, there are other living entities. They come and eat the flower also. So the flower is thinking, I got a nice bug, right? I'm comfortable for the night. My dinner is here. But then before it realizes, blunk, it's gone, and the flower is gone. So now you can see there is no real sweetness. We think this is sweetness. You know, we think we have a comfortable life. You may be in a very comfortable position, very rich or very simple and living a very simple life and feeling that you're very comfortable. But that is total illusion. Total illusion. You know, any moment that sweetness is just going to be plonked away. You know, just like Aghasur was also thinking, I got so many coward boys, I got so many calves, and I got Krishna, right? His demoniac thing was, I got Krishna, now I can devour him, you know. But then Krishna, he shows nothing can touch him, nothing can destroy him, nothing can kill him, nothing can hurt him. That's what Bhagavatam is saying. So he expands himself, and all the demigods, they are always watching what is Krishna up to in his little, childhood form. So when they see this, then they glorify Krishna by saying Jai, like you say, Prabhupada ki Jai. So all the glories to little Kana, all the demigods, 33 million demigods are saying Jai. And it is said that sound vibration goes into the sky, into the Vaikuntha planet. It rebounds into the Braj, and that is called Jai Kund. Jai Kund is only hardly 5 to 7 kilometers from here. It is now being developed, and we are taking nice care of it. There are many wonderful places being developed. Jai Kund is one of them. And guess what? Even the government and the tourism industry, they are spending crores of rupees now to revive the Braj. Many years back, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he revived the Radha Kund, Shyam Kund, the 12 forests and some other places. And then he went and he sent Sanatana and Rupa Goswami. Sanatana and Rupa Goswami came and re-established so many temples. They established so many kunds, so many forests. They established the preaching, the science of preaching. And then the other Goswamis came and joined them, and then future Goswamis, so many Goswamis in the Paramparas, they continued, Here, the Braj Foundation is also doing the same thing. We are reviving so many kunds, so many Leela Sthalis. We have identified nearly 1,600 places, once kunds and pastimes for places where pastimes are performed by Lord Krishna himself and coward boys and the gopis like that. We have already revived 50, and we have plans to do another 1,550 in the next 15 to 20 years. So that when when we all come here, our God brothers and sisters, they come from overseas and they have read the Bhagavatam. I know a lot of them will read the Bhagavatam, they'll read the 10th canto. And when they come here, they have high expectations that Braj is going to be so beautiful, isn't it? And they're going to think there will be so many devotees chanting and dancing. But then unfortunately, when they come here, they see the agency of Maya in action, and then they become upset. But now, we have, by Prabhupada's mercy, a beautiful temple here. By Prabhupada's mercy, nice Goshala. By Prabhupada's mercy, nice Gurukul. So many, kunds and vans, they are being established and beautified. So, as devotees, we should take all these places very seriously. As devotees, we should plan how we can chant sincerely and seriously, so we can become like Prahlad Maharaj. And ideally, all these places, like Indradhuma Swami, when he came last year, he took a group of devotees to Ramtal, where Sabri Rishi did tapasya for 60,000 years. And you'll be surprised to know, it's amazing, when we dug the kund there, the sweet water came out. Normally it's saline water. And also, the traditional old walls, where the bricks are 2 feet by like 3 feet long, traditional bricks, 2-inch thick metal plate came out. We call the archaeologists, and they identify this is more than 3,000. They don't know how many thousands of years, but they're saying at least 3,000 years, like this. So there are many wonderful things to see, to realize in the Braj. And by going and realizing and seeing these places and thinking of Krishna again and again, we have a good opportunity to become Krishna conscious. We have a good opportunity to be engaged in preaching. We have a good opportunity to be engaged in this science that Srila Prabhupada has given us and become blissful like the devotees. Become blissful like Prahlad Maharaj. Nothing can disturb us. Dhruv Maharaj, nothing can disturb us. So many wonderful pastimes are there. So thank you for listening. If anyone has a question, I can answer 1 or 2 questions before we close. Yes, Prabhu. Sound. You can ask the question, I'll translate it.
This is from my sister. She is asking if Super Soul is seated next to Super Soul in our hearts. Why does it just watch us going deeper into Maya? Why not stop us before we get so engrossed that we cannot come out of it?
So the question is, if the Super Soul is seated within our heart next to the soul, why doesn't the Super Soul stop us getting entangled into the Maya, basically, right? Yeah. Very nice question. In the 4th chapter of 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained. No, sorry, it is 2nd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, right, Dr. Ji? 2nd chapter, 2nd canto, 2nd chapter, verse 20. Actually, 15 to 20 is explaining how there are different life airs in our body, and by controlling them, the soul can actually identify or realize the Super Soul. It's a very difficult process, but in Satyuga, they used to be able to do that. Remember, if Krishna controls every move of ours, then what do we become? A robot, right? Then we're going to say, hey Krishna, you're controlling everything I'm doing. Although ultimately he's controlling. But then we want our independence. So he gives us that minute independence so we can realize through all our different activities, karmic activities, through the challenges, through the tapasya, he gives us that opportunity to realize, to come back to him. When we are in Golok Dham, we don't have that problem because you can talk Krishna face to face. But we were envious of him. So Krishna said, okay, you want to be independent, you want to be like me, go and check it out. So then we come to Bhuloka here. So in that 2nd chapter is also explained that if you are able to control your different chakras, then gradually the soul closes away from the external energies, the material energy, and the soul can actually realize his position where he's seated in the heart next to the super soul. And then it can take darshan of the super soul and leave this body also. Like Bhishma Pitta was so advanced. Bhishma Pitta was very transcendentalist. So he is lying on the bed of arrows, but he was not screaming the hell out of the universe, I mean pain. Like you get one needle here and go, right? Bhishma Pitta had arrows through the entire body. And what's he doing at the last moment? He's preaching. Why? Because he is a great devotee. And then he is in such a powerful position, he is telling Vasudeva Krishna, please come close to me. He's telling everyone disperse. See, he has this power. Everyone disperse. And then Krishna comes right next to him and he says, okay, now I want to see your Chaturbhuj form. I want to see you in your out forms. And I have one request from you, Krishna. That when I close my eyes, I want to see your form in this form here. And when I come in Vaikuntha or Golokdham, I want to see you in the same form when I open my eyes there. Not a small thing. Not a small thing. Only a devotee who is realized can command Krishna like this. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Prabhu, you had a question?
Like the word.
Yeah, you can speak.
Just like we find so many faults.
Yeah.
So we find so many faults in our guru.
Yeah.
Because when guru is giving, Prabhupada is giving us everything. Now we have our spiritual master and we find so many faults in them. So why we are finding the faults when the soul and Atma and Paramatma are together? Then why do we find the faults? Even so many people they find looking for other soul and so many things. Why this fault finding tendency of the soul is there?
Question. When we have a spiritual master and we are initiated and we are devotees, why is there still a tendency within us to look at the faults in the Guru? Not Prabhupada, but he's saying in this next generation of Gurus, why do we look at faults in them? And is that basically what you're saying, right? And why the tendency is still within us? Why is it that we are able to see that? Prabhupada explains that when you take initiation, when we take initiation, it is just the beginning of our spiritual life. That does not mean that we become Bhishma Pitta or we become Narad Muni, or there are many great examples. We do not become Prahlad Maharaj in one moment. Initiation means that you have realized, we as an individual have realized that there is a need to take spiritual life seriously so that we can understand our constitutional position. That doesn't mean, initiation doesn't mean that all our previous lifetimes of karma, which accumulate into so many anarthas that we carry with us, are gone. Now the spiritual master is there to help us, But because of our mental consciousness, which is still based on material platform, we are able to see so many things that we should not be seeing. And our tendency is natural. Leave alone the spirituality. Leave alone the guru and disciple. If you even look at simple human beings, everyone is thinking, how can I be better than this person? And if somebody is really successful, then what happens? There are so many people who will become envious. Isn't it? People become so many. If you do something nice, you'll see a few smiling faces, but you can immediately see in the crowd who is envious. Right? Because they're thinking, why I can't be like that person? It's that envy, the tendency of envy is inside us. So when we take spiritual initiation, when we take Diksha, we're still in that constitutionally, we are still conditioned. And we have to work, Just like because I do 7 years of MBBS or whatever, doesn't mean that I become a surgeon overnight. After 7 years of study, guess what? 1 year you have to watch, 1 year you practice, and then after that, in the 3rd year, you qualify to become a surgeon. Just to cut somebody's body open, you spend 10 years. If you don't do that, if I come to you and say, I read the book on how to do surgery, I will cut you up and I'll take care of you. How many of you will sign up with me? Right? So same thing, just for simple things in material world, we have to endeavor so much. We are asking for something that is eternally blissful and full of blessings, so that we never have to come into this disease condition again. So shouldn't we have to endeavor a little bit seriously for that? Shouldn't we take the spiritual master seriously? You know, Prabhupada gives that example. In the courtyard is full of dirt, and then Sanatana Goswami has dropped that sparkling gem in there, the touchstone. What are you going to say? Doesn't matter if I get dirty, I'm going to get that stone. Because if I touch that stone, then I'll become like Prahlad Maharaj. Then I'll become like Sanatana Rupa Goswami, you know. So go for that. Because otherwise, Maya is so tricky, we are surrounded by all kinds of illusory energies. So if we get too close to the spiritual master without making that advancement, then we'll also serve faults only. Because we are full of faults, we see faults in others. But if we look at good things in others, then we'll see good things in ourselves also, and we'll make advancement. You know? So it doesn't matter, it may not be a guru, even a crowd, like we are maybe enjoying having some gathering and doing some chanting, reading, discussion. See what each person has to give you. Prabhupada goes to the extent that if your child has some knowledge and he gives you something that you have not realized, but that is important in life, take that knowledge even from a child. It may be your child. Don't think this is my son or my daughter, how can I be taking guidance from this? No. Bless them and take the knowledge and utilize it. No? So that is the consciousness we have to be in. Otherwise, we've been defaulting all our life. Not just after initiation, we've been defaulting for many lifetimes that's why we are back here. This lifetime we want to make sure we don't come back. Does it answer your question? Okay, last question. Yeah.
We have identified 1600 places. We have identified 1600 places. 1600
Can you come a little closer? Because,
places we identified.
yeah.
How do we do that?
How do we know that? Everything that we find in life takes endeavors with research. So for example, when we have some IIT students, you know, who are enrolled in doing research historically, they look at all the different pastimes of Krishna, then they will identify this is Krishna perform this lila, that lila, like this, so they have lined up so many different leelas. Now where is this lila and specifically geographically? So then a research team will go out and locate that through different resources. And once they find that this is a village, this is a place, they will even go there and talk to the elderly people. And incredibly and inevitably, you hear so many things. In every village you go, you know, you just go to any village, don't worry about which kund or which one. Every village you go and you talk to the elderly people. Be humble. Rinadapi sunichena taror ivaseshnana amanina manadina kirtaniya sadhari. Very important to be very humble in life if you want to make advancement. Go to this elderly village people, touch their feet, sit next to them and hear katha from them. And you'll see they'll tell you so many things. It's just kind of so many amazing things to learn. So that's how we find, research, locate the places. Then scientifically also, now there is like all the satellite system. So you can see, like Ramtal, if you can see Ramtal, you see we've unearthed it, you can see through the satellite that there was something underneath there. So we find that. Just like the Ram Setu or Dwarka, you know, Mud Dwarka, now they've identified through the satellite system that there was a Mud Dwarka, you know. So these things can be identified. Takes time, takes endeavor. Then as you unearth them, you get all the history, you put it down there, you know. We have plans also to put we have putting small rooms, which every room will put technology. Like the Mormons, I don't know if you know about Mormons, but Mormons, when they establish temples, they put iPods, big iPods in every kind of corner of the temple. So this temple, they would have about 20 iPods. So every pilgrim who is coming would have an opportunity to go and punch. Whatever comes to your mind, you can punch. What is the philosophical understanding? How should I be living with my family? What should I be doing? What is Krishna? Why Krishna this? Why Krishna that? Why Radharani this? All these things can be actually there. So the new generation, as we know, they don't want to hear directly. They want to go on to technology. So Krishna and Prabhupada is giving us all these resources so we can reach to millions of people. Prabhupada, when he was giving a lecture, he said, this is a material thing, but I can use it in my preaching. So therefore, now microphone is spiritual. So you have to take everything like that. Krishna Balaram ki, Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Bhagwan ki, Shri Gauranitai Bhagwan ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki.